Record to the cloud. Trying to see myself. There it is. Okay. All right, guys. What's up, Proven Nation? Let's get started. My name is Willie Villarreal. I'm a family nurse practitioner. I'm up here in Conroe, the Woodlands area, just north of Houston. I'm also an independent promoter for Prove It, and I'm honored to be covering the Keto 101 tonight. Some of y'all may or may not know me, but for the ones that don't, I'm the owner of Core Sports Recovery and Wellness Clinic, and specialize in hormone therapy, wellness, sports and human performance. My patients range from professional athletes to an MMA to boxers to CrossFit Games athletes, including 2 champs, power lifters, Olympic lifters, and then most recently the USA Taekwondo Olympic team members. Also take care of your average weekend warriors, wellness patients who just want to feel better. Sorry, I keep peeking at my notes. I want to make sure I don't leave anything out for y'all. A lot of my patients have diabetes, obesity, hormonal issues, and a lot of people just want to, feel better. I believe and I practice a different type of medicine, more along the lines of functional integrative medicine or regenerative medicine. We should really address issues proactively and actually try to get you off meds. Okay. I think that we really need to start judging good medicine based on how many patients I can get you off of rather than how many meds I put you on. Okay. I personally and really, really strongly believe that we are very, very and heavily over-medicated as a society. Okay. Medicine in the U.S. today we're strictly reactive and symptom control. You come to me, with a symptom and I basically give you a med. And we're not really, healing anybody. Okay. By the time you know it, you're on 10 meds. Okay. Other than surgery and a few other specialties, we really don't fix anything anymore. And we really aren't healing anybody. Okay. This is also why I love surgery so much. I've worked as an RN first assistant in surgery for over 15 years. I mainly worked in the open heart and CV room. And so I did a lot of open hearts. I was a guy that, took your vein, did the vein harvesting and got it prepared for bypass. So I've seen a lot of issues that have come from nutritional or metabolic, syndrome. Now I specialize in, Da Vinci robotic surgery. I reached out to Brian the other day, and I basically told him that, for the first time in my medical career that I actually feel like I'm finally healing and helping people with the use of kind of ketogenic low carb lifestyle and specifically ketones. I really believe that many of our national epidemic issues like diabetes and obesity can be directly addressed through proper nutrition. And hormones. It isn't a new concept, guys. I mean, ever since 400 BC, back in 400 BC, Hippocrates said the natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force for getting well. Our food should be our medicine and our medicine should be our food. Okay, guys, we're not winning the war on diabetes and obesity. Okay, we're not. Ever since 1980, when, they started recommending low fat diets to everybody, we've gotten more obese and more diabetic. Okay. Weight loss is a metabolic issue. And it's related to a lot of things like hormonal and genetic makeup. Our whole lives we've been told just eat less, eat well and exercise and you'll lose weight. Not true. Our bodies are designed to use 2 types of fuel for energy. Simple and complex carbs are designed to be used first. And what does not get used is stored as fat or triglycerides. But we can also train our bodies to use the stored fats by restricting our daily intake of carbs and forcing our bodies to use our stored supply. This is ketosis, and I'll kind of get into that in a second. A diet high in fats and low in carbs can help our bodies burn what we need to lose the weight and still have the energy we need. We all have stories in our life about weight gain, whether it's puberty, hormones, medications, pregnancy, depression, and our genetics, and whatever the reason, they're all have the same common denominator, okay? It's insulin dysfunction, okay? Insulin plays 2 major roles in our body. It decreases blood sugar, okay, and it stores fat, promotes fat storage. A keto lifestyle, okay, can really help your body lose the weight it needs and keep your insulin in check. And this is where Keto OS comes in, okay? Do you have to follow the diet, ketogenic diet to get all the results? Absolutely not. But I highly, highly recommend a low carb lifestyle for every individual and every one of my patients for overall health, wellness, and performance. I can honestly say that, and remember this, guys, okay, as a quote, I can honestly say that Prove It's Keto has been the single biggest addition to my practice over the past year and a half for all my patients and all my athletes. So let's get into it real quick. What is ketosis and what are ketones? Ketones is basically simply when our body converts to being a fat burner, to using our body fat for fuel instead of sugar. Okay, you become a fat burner rather than a sugar burner. 95% of the population is a sugar burner. Everybody's addicted to carbs and sugar, and no doubt, carbs and sugar, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And that's what I tell patients, and they kind of lights their eyes up. This can be achieved through a diet. Ketosis can be achieved through a diet consisting of very low carb, moderate protein, and high fats, and or periods of fasting. In the state of ketosis, basically our liver produces ketone bodies from our fatty acids or our fat stores. And ketones, primarily beta hydroxybutyrate, okay, then becomes our primary fuel source rather than the less efficient and harmful glucose. The BHB is the main ingredient, okay, in our Prove-It products. In the past, it was an either or situation, okay? You were either over here sugar or you were over here ketogenic. You couldn't have both. If you're over here ketogenic and making ketones, if you ate any pizza, you start over. Okay. You have beer, you start over. You have birthday cake, you start over. Okay. Now we actually have the benefit of drinking exogenous ketones. Okay. The only way in the past to experience the power of ketones was to follow a really strict, restrictive ketogenic diet. Now we have a much easier way. Okay. Now we can actually drink ketones. You can actually drink the BHB and get in a state of ketosis in less than 1 hour. And that's verifiable by blood stick. Okay. I specialize in ketogenic therapy way before, with my patients, athletes, way before ketones came along. And I can tell you from personal experience, it is very, very hard. Compliance is very, very low. Even for the patients that it's a life or death situation, they find themselves negotiating, whether they can stay on it or not stay on it. But now, as Rutherford says, Michael Rutherford says, if you have a working esophagus, okay, if you can drink liquid, you can get into ketosis now. Okay, that's huge, guys. I mean, we've never been able to have this before. So the benefits of ketones are way too many to mention. I can tell you stories and stories and stories of all the positive benefits I've had with all of my patients. But basically, everybody experiences better in a little bit different way, okay? From weight loss, primarily from fat loss, to better cognitive brain function, leading to less mental fog, to improved energy, to better sleep, better mood. Your wife looks hotter, your husband's more handsome. But I mean, seriously, it just puts you in a much better mood. And seriously though, recent studies that we heard in Dallas with Dr. Jacob Wilson talking about, recent studies in the lab show where the ketones are actually starting to repair and increase the number of mitochondria at the cellular level. So what does that mean? Basically more ATP, more energy. That's huge. I want to take a short detour just because I've had this past week, a ton of questions on Facebook, on email from patients just asking specifically about sports performance. Okay, I'm not going to take a lot of time on it because I want to get to the products. But basically, I think it's a really, really important arena and that really needs to be addressed. And there's a ton of advantages that the ketones provide for athletes. And it's been verified. I mean, there's been books written about it by Dr. Jeff Volek, Dr. Steve Finney. They wrote The Art and Science of Low Carb Performance. A good book. Check it out. Even Zach Bitter, the world record 100-miler, ultramiler, is strictly ketogenic. I posted a article about him last week. I can speak directly, personally, to the benefits of the ketones. Over the past year and a half that I've been taking them, I have personally become a lot stronger, leaner, and I'm eating 1 or 2 meals a day and drinking ketones twice a day, sometimes 3 or 4. But as many of you may or may not know, on the sports performance side, I'm a CrossFit Masters athlete. In 2014, I was number 3 in the world after the Open. And I narrowly missed the games that year by just a few spots. I hurt my back and dropped to 3rd to 25th, and they take top 20 in the world. So, but ever since then, I've competed in a lot of the major comps, Granite Games, Raging Games, and won a few of them. But I'll be real brief. I just want to go over 4 of the main benefits, okay? Ketones are excellent for what I call intense athleticism, whether that's triathletes, OCRs, obstacle course racers, CrossFit, Olympic lifting. And so benefit number 1, okay? Ketones produce greater ATP output with less reactive oxidative species, reactive oxidative stress. Ketones actually require less oxygen, per unit of ATP. So what does that mean? You can train longer without gassing out, or, that famous bonk that the triathletes have. You bonk mentally and physically when you run through your glycogen store. So benefit number 2, ketones are very anti-catabolic. They're very good at muscle preservation. If you're a sugar burner, okay, you become catabolic in the absence of sugar. Okay, if you're a sugar burner, you rely on sugar or glucose as your primary fuel. If you don't give yourself sugar, your body's going to find its own sugar, and primarily from breaking down your skeletal muscle. Okay, so what this means for us is take ketones before training. They'll allow you to use your muscles rather than breaking them down for fuel. Using the fat and ketones for fuel instead of sugar preserves muscle, powers workouts, and it keeps your energy high throughout the day. Benefit number 3, okay? Ketones are very, very anti-inflammatory. A recent Yale study came out and showed where the ketones of BHB specifically reduced an inflammasome called NLRP3. So what does that mean for us? Less inflammation plus muscle preservation, get faster and more efficient recovery and regeneration. Number 4, now you can be a dual fuel, dual capacity athlete. You burn carbs and you can burn sugar, okay? Ketones fuel the brain very efficiently and effectively, so you're training, your muscles can use more of your muscle glycogen. Most importantly, and this is really cool, and we still don't understand the mechanism, but the ketones allow your brain to push past basically our normal autonomic nervous system shutdown, aka like the pain cave, the dark place. A lot of people don't realize, and actually Navy SEALs, Spec Ops, a lot of people, law enforcement train, is that once you think you're done, once your body's telling you to stop or you're done, you can't go any further, you're actually only 40% done. Okay. You have 60% left in the tank that you can actually tap. It's basically a protective mechanism that our body has, so we don't hurt ourselves. Okay. So we've all heard of the stories of, the grandma that can lift a Jeep, because her granddaughter or grandson's under there, or, the guy that's been arrested, the meth head that can break, handcuffs. Those people were able to tap into that extra 60%. Okay. When we get into the elite athletic realm, there's not very much difference between you or me. We're the same person on paper. So what's going to be the difference between you beating me and me beating you? It's totally mental. It's who can push past that pain cave. So that dark place, who can go there? So what it means for us, the ketones actually give you better reaction time, less brain fog, better mental energy, and it allows you to push past your perceived limit. Okay. So real quick, let's go over the products. Word on the street is that we will soon be having just Keto Max and Keto Max Plus. Okay, Keto Max Plus will have the MCTs. Don't have a timeline for that yet, but so for the purposes of this kind of keto one, I'm going to break down the differences, because I get a lot of questions. What's the difference of 2.1 or 3.0 or Keto Max? So 2.1, Keto 2.1 is our Orange Dream. That's our original formula. Okay, that was our very first one. Still love it. That's still my very favorite. Still the best seller in the company. The original formula has MCTs, medium chain triglycerides, which it's a fat that our body can't store, so it gets used immediately for energy. So it has MCTs and it has a little bit of dairy. Okay, it's very useful for people that are already fat adapted or already follow a low carb, high fat diet. I would be cautious. I would always start everybody on half. Just to gauge their tolerance of it because of the MCTs. For a lot of us, gut has not been really in check or well. Our guts have been kind of not used to being, having fat or MCTs for maybe decades. So it's very important to kind of ease into that one. I always start everybody on half and then kind of gauge their tolerance. Okay. The benefits of it, it keeps you full longer. Okay, it satiates you a little bit longer. It helps with cognitive function. It gives you your brain extra fuel. The MCTs are excellent for fuel or brain fuel. And like I said, I actually love it for a lot of my athletes. Next came along was the Keto 3.0, the chocolate swirl. That one has tastes more like a Tootsie Roll. What they did there is they replaced the MCTs with a shorter chain fatty acid called butyrate. Now, butyrate has been shown in a lot of studies to be really, really anti-inflammatory. Medically, it improves gut disease like IBS, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. It's been shown in some studies to help with autoimmune diseases, prevent colon cancer. It's really good for people that aren't following a low-carb, high-fat diet, improves gut health with the butyrate and inulin. Okay, it has inulin, which is chicory root. Chicory root's an herb that's been around for hundreds of years, and it's really good for osteoporosis and as a prebiotic. It also, the 3.0 also helps with increasing muscle development because it's got branched chain amino acids in it. Okay, this is still my wife's favorite, and she's scared to death that they're going to discontinue it. So I hope they're not. Guys, if y'all are listening, please don't discontinue it. My wife will kill y'all. Keto next is my favorite, and a lot of people's favorite is the Biomax. Okay, the Keto OS Biomax. It comes in Maui Punch, Swiss Cacao, raspberry lemonade, and soon Blue Ocean, which will be like a pina colada flavor. It's a newest formula. It's basically double the amount of ketones with no fat. Okay, so it hits you quicker and lasts longer. Puts you in ketosis a lot quicker. It's great for all my athletes. Anybody, like I said earlier, intense athleticism. It gives you an amazing boost of energy. Lots of mental focus. A lot of people have compared this to personally, in my clinic, to Adderall or Vyvanse. I have used it a lot with my PTSD patients. I work a lot with vets with PTSD, with traumatic brain injury, and I've used it a lot with them. Like I said, I like to get patients off meds, so I've used it a lot with them to get them off things like Vyvanse and Adderall. All of the ketones come in charged or uncharged. That's just basically caffeinated or uncaffeinated. I always get the questions, who do you give caffeine to, or charged or uncharged? I really don't recommend uncharged to anyone unless they're children. Okay, children less than maybe 10 years old, and anyone that has a true caffeine deficiency. Some people will tell you they have a caffeine deficiency, but they have a Starbucks every morning, or they drink sodas every day. That's not a true caffeine deficiency, caffeine sensitivity. Or people, I would be very careful also with people that have any kind of heart disease or kidney disease. The uncharged is excellent for them, the ketones, but I would just be careful with the caffeine. But the other thing too, we're all waiting on, and we all drink like crazy, is the Keto Cream. Okay, Keto Cream Plus is coming out, and it's been on hold for a while. Please release the cream, seriously. It's basically our instant fat coffee. Okay. It has MCTs that readily convert to ketones for the brain energy. It has coconut butter. It has patented Ceylon cinnamon. The cinnamon improves insulin sensitivity, stabilizes blood glucose. It's a really potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. It balances yeast in the gut. It will not increase your cholesterol, okay? And also it helps to support weight control because it limits the conversion of sugars to fat. The new version, the Keto Cream, is supposed to also have like a collagen protein, so good for joints as well. So real quick, I know I ran through that pretty quick. I could literally, honestly, talk for an hour on this stuff. I give workshops with my partner in crime, Jared Maidenberg down here. We're doing a big one Saturday, August 26th in Clear Lake at NASA Hilton. But real quick, I want to leave a chance for maybe a couple of questions, but recap, ketosis is basically, I want y'all to know, it's our natural native metabolic state, okay, in which we basically use fat for energy instead of carbs. Ketones is what our body produces when we're in this state. And now we can actually simply just drink ketones, okay? What I tell patients is basically this. This is the easiest way to explain it to people. It's like, you want to go to Hawaii, right? You can either swim there or you can fly there. Okay. Which would you rather do? I'll fly you there with ketones. Okay. Countless studies have shown that ketones can decrease inflammation, increase fat burning, protect against cancer and neurodegeneration. We're not making medical claims. We make no medical claims. But the studies are there as far as the benefits of the ketones, so you can look them up on your own. But they've been shown to increase longevity and health span, improve immune system, improve cognition, and many other health benefits. So basically, drink your ketones. That's the takeaway. You need some, you ain't got none, and I can give them to you, or we can give them to you now. That's why I tell my patients. Pruvix exogenous, basically the ketones are hands down the best tool I have ever seen to, or they're the best tool I've ever seen to kind of work in harmony with a low carb, high fat, lifestyle. They're the most effective catalyst to kind of jumpstart your goal of ketosis. Basically, within 1 hour of taking the ketones, you're in ketosis. You don't have to guess anymore whether you are or not. Personally, my personal belief is that for long-term health and wellness, they really, really, really need to become a daily staple of your diet. Okay. They've been established by Dr. Dom D'Agostino as a fourth macronutrient. His exact comment was, I see, the FDA sees ketones as a drug. I view them as a fourth macronutrient. We have proteins, fats, carbs, now ketones. Okay. So to me, if they've already been established as a macro, people go nuts trying to count their macros for the day. Why aren't we treating it as a daily macro? It needs to be a daily staple of the diet. Okay. So I hope this is, I know it's kind of short, talk real fast, and, it was brief. Like I said, I could go on forever on specifics, but I just kind of wanted to give you a brief, summary of what ketones and ketosis is. Okay. So stay tuned for one of my partners, Anna Dornier, who I'm very, very proud of, on my Louisiana team. She will be doing the Prover 101. Feel free, guys, to send me any messages on Facebook. I am answering questions all day long, every day. That is one of the beauties of this community, is that we're all, whether we're on the same team or not, we are all here to help each other out. Jared and I aren't even on the same team, but we collaborate on every big workshop here in Houston. Other people, like, Amanda and Chad West, I love them. We're not on the same team, but I'm always happy to help their team out. Or, Candy, the Strayhans, love them to death. So any of y'all have any questions, shoot them my way. I'll be happy to answer them, whether it's in the sports performance realm or the, health and wellness realm. Okay. So good seeing y'all. Try to make my video bigger. Still learning how to use a Zoom.
That was awesome, Willie. Just hit the stop recording.
Got it.